our fear of darkness. And so that's one of the unique features. The second unique feature is that the book will be divided into two reading fonts. One of the first reading font will be, of course, in English. And so the English portion of the story will be to the bottom of the book. And in the top half of the book will be in my own font. I created my own font that's called Genius Font. And Genius Font, it looks similar to like a hieroglyph or something that would be found in outer space or something like that. It's very different. But the importance of creating that is that it allows the child, it allows whoever the reader is to challenge their brain to create new neural pathways by thinking of the correlation between what the letter is in English and what the letter is in Genius Font. And so it challenges the brain to now create a pathway of new learning, of new.
Hi family, I'm Dr. Brenda. I'm a licensed daycare provider, a published author of 3 children's books, an advocate, a consultant, a veteran's wife, and a mother. If you need help setting up your daycare service or just looking for great ideas to incorporate a play-based learning approach as well as learn about research-based solutions to issues impacting education, this is the channel for you. Subscribe, share, like. Thank you.
I was born on the island of Nassau, Bahamas. My parents are originally from Haiti, and I grew up primarily in the United States in Miami, Florida. Okay, well, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. That is a person who sees individuals, families, couples, and psychotherapy. That's one-on-one talk therapy or group therapy or family therapy. I've been doing that for about 13 years professionally. I'm in private practice now at my own practice called Beachstone Counseling, where I specialize in Black male issues. I also specialize in family and couples therapy. Motivation always comes from my children. I am the father of 6 children now. I have my oldest daughter who's 11, and then I have triplets who are about to be 10 next week. And then we have our first boy. His name is Ayo. He's about 15 months. And then we have a baby girl. She's about a month and a half now. Her name is Mahali. And so being a father of small children, I was reading stories to them at bedtime, and they would love my stories. And so one of them told me, Dad, you should write a children's book because your stories are so amazing. And so that was my first inspiration to write children's stories. But my inspiration to write my latest book, which I'll be speaking about, was during the pandemic. It was a really hard time for my kids. I saw them stressed as a father. And of course, I'm a mental health professional, so I can recognize some of those things in them easier. They were stressed out based on going through the pandemic. They were separated from their friends at school. I had to share the news that one of their favorite teachers passed away. And so they were dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety. And so I wrote this book as a response to how to help young kids understand when they're not doing well, when they're stressed out, when they're able to learn how to manage their own emotional state. And so I wrote this book because I saw what was happening for my kids. And I wanted to create something that can help not just my kids, but every kid. Yeah, this one is called Have a Good Day. Now, this book was the one I wrote in response to what was happening during the pandemic. And briefly, what this book is about, it goes through the journey of a young boy who realized that he woke up on the right side of the bed. He woke up feeling great. But he said later that he realized that the day before was not like this day. And this is him outlining the day before, which was one of the worst days of his life, and how his father and himself created a plan on how to always have a good day. And so together, him and his father created this amazing chart right here kind of outlines the step-by-step process of what we can do with our minds and our emotions and our breath to allow ourselves to plan the good day internally and then manifest the good day through our actions and our behaviors. And if ever we have conflict throughout our day, because it's real, it's going to happen, we know how to reset and start back over to get back to that good day again. And it also has some great tools for parents and teachers. We have some tips down here to the bottom of the book that is highlighted with these different icons. The purpose of those is to make sure that the family is being engaged, the child is being engaged, the parents are being engaged, and everyone is being engaged in this book that deals with some really, really good emotional and mental balance. There's another one of my favorite. This one is called When the Tablets Ran Away. This one talks about our consumption of electronic phones and tablets and iPads. And the story talks about a neighborhood, a community that was dealing with a crisis because all of their kids were addicted to their tablets. They would be watching their tablets in school. They would come home and go straight to their tablets. They didn't make a lot of friends. They were all addicted to their tablets. And the community came together at school and formulated a plan. And in that plan, what they decided to do was to take away the kids' tablets and tell the kids that their tablets ran away. And so when the kids woke up the next morning, they were in shock. They went to school sad. They were hurt. They were angry. And the teacher already had a plan because the teacher was a part of the initial plan to remove the tablets from the kids. And so the kids went to school, but they were questioning, like, how are these teachers already ready for us about something that happened at home? And so they went throughout the day, and the kids actually started playing together. They started supporting one another. They had an emotional circle where they could share their feelings. They had different questions to help them become more aware of their day-to-day activities. And then at the close of the book, when the kids went home, they waited till the parents went to sleep, and then they took the parents' cell phones and hid them. And then when the parents woke up the next morning, the kids told them that their cell phone must have ran away. So to pay back, as in, we will mirror what you guys do. So the lesson is to make sure as adults, as parents, we monitor our own electronic consumption so that our kids won't watch us and then emulate what we're doing and create balance between what we can intake visually and also through our brains as well. This is a really important book that aligns with a lot of issues that we're having with social media addiction, cell phone addiction, Facebook addiction, Instagram addiction. It's basically saying, put the phone down, get outside, make friends, put the tablets down, get outside, make friends, socialize, and come closer. And so this is one of the books that I'm really proud of as well. The book is called Go to School Every Day. And that book is another book that I wrote in response to a community issue. I'm from South Florida, but this issue is nationwide, I'm sure, where we have a lot of children that don't make it to school based on their attendance. And their attendance, if they're absent, then it will impact their day-to-day as far as learning and the ability to recall information. If you have times where you're absent and then you're learning and it's not being repeated, then it's going to impact overall performance. And so I was at a specific attendance symposium at the school district where I live, and they were saying that they needed more literature to support making sure kids understand the value of going to school. And I felt a personal charge, and so I took it upon myself to work with the team of individuals in the attendance, department, the truancy department, and they were able to help me shape the theme for the book, which is Go to School Every Day. And it's a really brief book that talks about the value of when you go to school every day, what you can achieve. At the end of the book, the young man in the book was celebrated by his teachers and by his school for having perfect attendance because that was his goal for the year. And so it's a reminder of the value of going to school every day. So I would say that the writing style is between K through 4 years old. K through 4th grade. That's where the language is geared towards, K through 4th grade. Now, the subject matter, I think, is for everyone. I try to always make sure that, because I know that some of the parents will be reading to their children, I want to make sure that I add some value so that when the parents are done reading, they can walk away with some mind shift of how they can better themselves through the understanding of a children's story. We know that stories are where we share our own understanding, learning, wisdoms, and so forth. And so I always try to, because of how I learned from my parents, stories are important for our culture. And so I try to put small morals and values in every story that can show the closeness of a relationship, that can show the idea of what a father-son relationship is, that can show the support of extended family. And so there's always something in there for the adult to chew on to make sure that they're not leaving empty-handed and reading children's story without feeding themselves. Journey was, I had different journeys. I think with this last book, I had, just some slight difficulties, but nothing that, prevented me. I wanted this book to come out way sooner than it did. I wanted to come out during the pandemic. I think it came out at the very end because I wanted to support a lot of the kids that were in there. And we know kids aren't necessarily stressed just during the pandemic. They're stressed throughout the entire year. But the difficulties I ran into that one was the illustrator was not, necessarily aligning with some of the ideas that I had, and we had some slight conflict that we worked out at the end, but it delayed the project by some time. And I had to be okay with that. I'm still very pleased with the outcome. But other than that, every time I would publish a book, it goes smooth from my brain to finding an illustrator and then creating the design on Canva, and then setting it up with Amazon. I think it's called
KDP.
KDP Publishing, which is affiliated with Amazon, and so that's usually a non-issue, and then it usually gets published. And then I think where the journey kind of stops for me is that I'm not the best marketer, so a lot of my books do well with the audience that I have, but I believe it could do even greater if I had abilities to do stuff like this, like speaking on a podcast about my books and letting people know the face of the author and some of the things that motivate me to create these. I have several other books that are not completed, and I have one book specifically that I've been working on that I'm proud of all of my books, but this book is very special because it has two unique features that I have not seen in a lot of children's books. The first feature is that the book has no pictures in it. There are no pictures in this book because I want to challenge the children and the parents to utilize the imagination and to tap into the darkness of nothing. And so when you look into darkness, it's your job to create from that space. And the book is themed, The Dark Inside of You. That's the name of the book, The Darkness Inside of You, to talk about our fear of darkness. And so that's one of the unique features. The second unique feature is that the book will be divided into two reading fonts. One of the first reading font will be, of course, in English. And so the English portion of the story will be to the bottom of the book. And then the top half of the book will be in my own font. I created my own font. That's called Genius Font. And Genius Font, it looks similar to like a hieroglyph or something that would be found in outer space or something like that. It's very different. But the importance of creating that is that it allows the child, it allows whoever the reader is to challenge their brain to create new neural pathways by thinking of the correlation between what the letter is in English and what the letter is in Genius Font. And so it challenges the brain to now create a pathway of new learning, of new understanding, while creating the imagery of the story as well. So the book is very different. I'm giving it a shot because I want to make sure that I'm still creating content that is entertaining for children, but also creates new ideas of what stories can be like, and ideas can come from darkness, because this is a story about darkness and challenging us to dive into the darkness and pull out as much as we can. And so this book, I think, should be out by the fall, and it's called The Dark Inside of You. The favorite part about being an author is that I get a chance to read to children, and I love kids. I'm a father of 6, but also I love to see how when they are able to understand and then process in their minds those aha moments when they connect the dots, when they find value in the story, and they say, "Yeah, I get it," And I also like the fact that I represent a minority of authors in this genre, children's stories that are based on social and emotional learning. And so it gives, the young kids a chance to see a professional, a licensed marriage and family therapist, an author, a father. I represent so many things when I'm in front of those kids, and I think my favorite part about being an author is that I have access to those relationships so that I can inspire the next generation to be authors, to be fathers, to be husbands, to be musicians, because I get a chance to show them all facets of me. A lot of what I do as a trainer, as a licensed marriage and family therapist, sometimes I run trainings for infant mental health. Sometimes I do trainings for fatherhood and prospective fathers and stakeholders and fatherhood, meaning some of the community providers that does programs for fathers. I do trainings for them. And so in those moments when I'm training, I also make sure that they understand that I'm an author as well. And my books are aligned with some of what they're doing. And so I get a chance to train them in the area that they're looking to be trained in, which is infant mental health. But also promote my books that way. I also promote my books on Instagram, on Facebook. I promote my books when I go to conferences. I try as much as I can to get it out there, and I would like to pick it up some more. So currently, I'm working with a marketer to see how we can create a campaign specifically for this book right here, Have a Good Day, because everyone deserves a smile, right? You can purchase them on Amazon on hardcover, and they're also available on Kindle. So they are hardcover and digital on Kindle. I think you can have both of them. And so I think that's it. All three of them are. The next one, I think I'll publish it on different other platforms so you can have it available on, let's say, actually, two of my books are actually on YouTube as well. So they're on video format and read aloud. There is When the Tapestry Ran Away is on YouTube. And and the first one, Go to School Every Day, is also on YouTube as a read aloud, where you can follow the story and turn the page and we'll kind of read it for you. You can follow along that way. So I think it's hardcover, it's in digital format on Kindle, and the read alouds on YouTube. I would tell them to make sure that they don't quit, because I think the starting process is easier. And sometimes we may allow time to get in the way, fatigue to get in the way, life to get in the way. But we have to make sure that we push through whatever obstacle there is and get it out there. Whatever it is, get it out there. Finish the first page, and then once you finish the first page, work on that second page, and then when you get done with that second page, work on that. Basically, don't put the pen down, don't put the typewriter down, don't put the phone down if you're typing on your phone. Just push through it. And I promise you, the second time it'll be even better. The third time, even more magnificent. The fourth time, now you're on a different level. The fifth time, you're surpassing all of your goals. So just keep pushing through. And of course, you will see that dedication with opportunity will equal to your success. My final thoughts are mental health is an important topic that I found as a licensed marriage and family therapist is important to place in the palms of our youngest and most vulnerable population, our children. And so as an author and a licensed marriage and family therapist, all of my books are supportive of the growth and development of a child's social and emotional learning and awareness. And so my final words is to make sure that you're taking care of you, whether you are the teacher, whether you are the student, or you are the parent, or you are wherever you are in the village. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, because we need you to be your best self. And I'm just thrilled that I had the opportunity to share myself with you guys. And I'm hoping that we can connect in some way from my fashion, whether it's on social media, reading my book, sending me a message, or leaving a review. But I appreciate all of you. Blessings on blessings.